Moments with Mo election specials.
Next president of Nigeria, how are we guaranteed that we would see that leadership in your administration?
What it means is going to be simple. A leadership with difference. A leadership with humility. A leadership that will respect people. A leadership that has no affliction of either anything sectional or interest. A leadership that is going to be leadership for all Nigerians, that Nigerians will identify with. A leadership that if you see me, you say, yes, this is my own president, and that I'm comfortable with that, and I'm comfortable with him. A leadership that is going to be transparent. A leadership that is going to be accountable. Okay. A leadership that will not be corrupt. A leadership, I can assure you, will not shortchange you. A leadership that will not allow corruption to happen within, around, or under.
I have millions of questions on corruption when we get there, but obviously that's what's plagued this country for centuries and for decades.
And I can tell you also a leadership that can listen.
That's another thing I find about leadership in Nigeria, is that the leaders are so removed from the people. So how do we bring the leadership closer to the people?
In my own case, if I'm going to talk about myself, you know, I've worked for 25 years of my life in public service, and I did all sorts of jobs. First of all, you know, as a graduate of law, I decided to join the Nigerian Police Force. And there was no better avenue through which you will have connection with the ordinary people than the police work. In my capacity as a police officer, I worked with the people directly. I did community work. I was, for example, a divisional crime officer in Ajegule police station in Lagos State.
You don't get closer to the people than that.
I don't think how else you could. I was a traffic officer in Mushin, in Lagos as well. I work in the Niger Delta at different times. I was in you know, different places that I had chance and opportunity, which I'm very grateful to God for that, to connect, to relate, to understand people, to witness how people live ordinarily. And today, I can also tell you, I relate very well, very, very much with the ordinary young boys and young girls growing up. And I think that's what matters.
So how will you eradicate corruption in Nigeria? How are you going to do that?
First and foremost, the most important is the leadership. Get Ribadu as your president, and I can assure you,
a
big percentage of that is achieved, because as a president of Nigeria, nobody, I can assure you, under me will dare.
Isn't it because in most countries it's about the processes internally they've put in place to ensure that you don't have access?
I can tell you it starts from leadership. Leadership at the highest level. You must have the most appropriate leadership that can lead the fight against corruption. When you talk about processes, you know, a system where a leadership is up there, will do what it likes, no process can ever work. Even if you have it, even if you have a system, even if you have a structure, as long as you have a political leadership that is ready to compromise itself, nothing else could work under. That's why I've started with telling you the most important thing is for you to have a leadership that is not just going to drive it, but also do it with example, practically, openly. You must have a leadership that is going to be transparent. You must have a leadership that is going to be accountable.
How do you run a transparent leadership?
Very good. It's leadership matters. When I say when you say something is what you do.
So how do we know you're going to be? I mean, how would I be able to say yes, Malam Ribadu is a transparent leader? What will I have access to?
First and foremost, I told you about look at the past record of an individual. Look at his lifestyle, look at how he lived, look at what he did before, and then for you to judge what he can do.
So Malam, yes, I mean, I want to know more about the process that you would put in place, because I understand that from the UN Office of Drug and Crime, $380 billion has been stolen over time by Nigerians in power.
Yes.
380 billion.
$380 billion. But I tend to you know, believe that maybe we could put it better way, wasted.
Wasted, not stolen.
I don't want to call it like stolen.
How do we ensure that another 380 billion will not get wasted?
The point is, first and foremost, you must open government. When I talk about transparent government, you must have systems that is going to make sure that the government is run openly. Open up the NMPC. NMPC is where most of this government money is coming. We have what we call EITI, Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, where the process of, for example, bringing out the oil from the ground, the process of selling it, and then, the money that is realized from it will all be open. Let every Nigerian know that this is how much crude oil is coming out, who is buying it, at what cost, and then when the money comes, where is the money going? And
what's it being used for?
You must open up this thing. You must have, for example, public procurement laws that are going to be not just behind it, but open. Contract awards.
But we had some. We had Madam Due Process at one time.
But at that time, when we started implementing it, we started seeing the benefit of it. But when we passed the law was watered down, was reduced to nothing. And today, nobody is talking about it.